Have you ever heard the tale of the blue glow, the radiant, otherworldly light that manifests at the thin boundary between this world and the next? Imagine sitting by the bedside of a loved one, the air thick with the silence of transition, when suddenly a shimmering azure presence fills the room, as if reality itself quivers at the threshold of a greater mystery. Across continents, centuries, and cultures, witnesses report a luminous blue apparition, wisps of light hovering, soft halos enveloping the dying, eyes reflecting an unearthly cerulean fire just moments before the final breath. Why is it almost always blue? Why does this light reveal itself only when the veil is thinnest, when life itself is dissolving into something unfathomable? Is this merely a trick of the senses, a hallucination conjured by a fading brain? Or could it be an ancient messenger, a spiritual force that's guided souls for epochs, documented in secret texts and whispered among initiates? Tonight, we are not just storytellers, but seekers venturing into the twilight realm where science hesitates and metaphysics stirs. We'll journey through the shadowed corridors of forgotten temples and lost mystical traditions, unearthing clues left behind by alchemists, shamans, and enlightened sages who dared to ask, what lies beyond the final threshold? In this video, we'll explore the enigmatic phenomenon of the blue light before death, from the cryptic scrolls of Egypt's House of Life to the dazzling electric blue visions recounted in modern near-death experiences. We'll unravel ancient philosophies that link the color blue to the soul's purification and examine why such knowledge retreated into secrecy, guarded by symbol and myth, protected from profane eyes. But at the core, this is not merely a tale of the afterlife. It's a mirror reflecting our deepest questions about existence, consciousness, and the dazzling beauty hidden just beyond ordinary perception. Stay with me as we descend into the labyrinth, where the blue light flickers, a beacon, a guide, and perhaps a glimpse of our truest essence. Before we begin, ask yourself, if you were to witness this radiant azure flame, would you fear or follow it into the mystery? To understand the phenomenon of the mysterious blue light seen before death, we must step beyond the modern world's skepticism, traveling into the mythic tapestry of humanity's oldest spiritual lore. This is not simply a recent curiosity. Whispers of the blue light echo through the most sacred chambers of our history, threading from the mist-shrouded Himalayas to ancient Egypt's secretive priesthoods, and even into the dark forests where the first shamans beat their drums to summon spirits. In the ancient Egyptian Book of the Dead, we find enigmatic references to the blue lotus and field of azure, symbols believed to guide the soul safely through Amenti, the underworld. Egyptian priests described the dying as bathed in a bluish glow, a hue they reserved for their gods and immortals. The goddess Isis herself, the ultimate mother and magician, is sometimes depicted enveloped in a subtle blue light, arms outstretched as if to receive departing souls. This wasn't just art, it was codified wisdom, encoded for eyes trained in the language of symbol. Journey next to the sacred caves of India. Ancient yogic texts speak of the blue pearl, a point of radiant indigo light seen in deep meditation and, according to legend, during the passage from body to spirit. The yogis say this orb is nothing less than the causal seed of consciousness, the spark that endures beyond the decay of flesh. Follow the blue light within, they urge, and you will know the freedom of the soul. Among the indigenous peoples of Siberia, the blue fire is the visible form of the soul's release, and shamans train for years to perceive and even shape this mystical flame, believing it to be the purest manifestation of spirit. In the Tibetan Book of the Dead, the Bardo, Thodalth, the dying are warned, when the clear blue light dawns upon thee, let not thy mind be distracted. Recognize it as the radiance of your own true nature. Why, then, does this shade of azure appear so frequently at death's door? Throughout ancient traditions, blue is not just a color, it is a frequency, a vibration, signifying purity, transcendence, and the dissolution of material limits. It represents the vast, unfathomable sky, the ocean's depths, the divine infinity that calls the soul home. Yet for centuries, this knowledge retreated underground. When empires fell and new religions rose, the blue light motif became shrouded in allegory or dismissed as heretical. Esoteric orders like the Hermeticists and Rosicrucians guarded the secret, weaving references to the blue ray into their hidden teachings and rituals, accessible only to the initiates who had undergone the rigors of spiritual death and rebirth. But why cloak such wisdom in mystery? Perhaps it was to protect the unprepared mind from existential terror, or to prevent the profaning of a truth meant only for those ready to see behind the veil. Or perhaps, as some mystics claim, the blue light is not a universal vision at all but an invitation, accessible only to those whose senses and spirit are attuned. In the tangled interplay of human history and myth, the motif of the blue light before death has remained both a beacon and a riddle. Like a hidden star in a cloudy sky, it awaits those who are willing to look up and truly see. With these ancient echoes whispering in our ears, we now prepare to examine the core of the phenomenon itself. What is this blue light? What can it teach us about consciousness, dying, and living more fully? Let us move deeper into the labyrinth, where symbols grow luminous and the ordinary blurs into the extraordinary. Picture this. A village elder, weathered by countless seasons, lies on his mat as the midnight air thickens with expectancy. Family members gather, their faces heavy with grief, and then, suddenly, someone gasps. A soft blue shimmer, like a gentle current beneath deep water, ripples across the elder's features. For a moment, all sorrow falls silent, awe filling the room. Is this a trick of the eyes, or a message encoded in the very fabric of human experience? Modern science attempts a clinical answer. Some neurologists suggest that visions of blue before death might be the result of a dying brain deprived of oxygen, that the perception of silent, floating blues is but a final surge of neurochemistry, the firing of rods and cones gone awry. But such explanations, while logical, ring hollow when stacked against the universality, depth, and numinous quality of blue light encounters recorded across millennia, from the Andes to the Himalayas. To approach the mystery sincerely, let's step outside the confines of material reductionism. The esoteric traditions maintain, color is not merely a visual event, but a frequency of spirit, a language of creation. Blue, occupying the narrow band between violet and green, is the gateway color of transformation, threshold energy between visible and invisible worlds. It is the color mystics see pulsing in the aura of awakened beings. It is the tongue of flame that dances atop candles during rituals of passage and exorcism. Consider the chakra system of ancient India. The fifth energy center, Vishuddha throat chakra, is depicted as a vivid blue lotus, spinning at the locus of communication, truth, and transcendence. Yogic lore claims that, upon death, as the soul withdraws from lower, denser chakras toward its source, it must pass through this blue vortex. If the soul is clear and unburdened, the blue light opens like a cosmic doorway. If not, the light may blind, frighten, or remain unseen, passing the soul instead into shadowy realms. Let us descend deeper into metaphor. Imagine life as a vast ocean, and each human existence as a droplet cast upwards, sparkling in the sun. Death is the return of the droplet to the boundless blue expanse, dissolution not into nothingness, but reunion. The blue light, then, is both the mist and the sea, an emissary signaling that the individual carved by the winds of karma and desire is about to merge with the infinite once more. There are hundreds of contemporary accounts aligning with this ancient imagery. Hospice workers speak in hushed tones of blue glows hovering above the recently departed. Those who have returned from near death, brought back, after minutes without breath, report being drawn through tunnels lined with sapphire fire, or finding themselves enveloped in electric azure warmth, where fear and pain dissolve. And yet, not all who die see this light. Only the attuned, the unburdened, the receptive, those whose hearts are open to mystery, describe the blue light as comforting, even beckoning. For others, it appears fleeting, unnoticed, or replaced by shadows and confusion. The experience, it seems, depends not just on the moment of death, but on the accumulated light within the soul itself. Are we witnessing a universal phenomenon, or simply a vast cross-cultural tapestry of hope, fear, and mythology? The answer is not simple. The blue light's mystery endures because it refuses to be pinned down. It is at once color and symbol, energy and invitation, a subtle frontier between this world and the next. In its presence, the dying gam, the living face, the deepest riddle. Who am I, beyond body and mind? As we follow this glimmering thread, let us peer yet further into the heart of the enigma. Where does this blue light lead? Why does it arrive for some, and not for others? And what secrets are harbored in the paradoxes that surround it? The path ahead winds deeper, and the radiance grows brighter. To pursue the blue light further is to step beyond comfort, into the vibrant territory where paradox and possibility converge. Here we must become not just passive readers of ancient tales, but interpreters willing to let the mystery shape us as much as we seek to shape it. Let us return to the mythic crossroads. Mystics across cultures warn, not all who encounter the azure glow are led to the same destiny. Some see the blue light as a benevolent guide, the spiritual equivalent of a lighthouse steering the soul through treacherous waters toward liberation. In certain Buddhist traditions, the blue light is said to arise from the sky mind, the intrinsic clarity beyond all suffering. It shines without source or shadow, beyond both birth and death. But accompanying warnings echo too. If you cling, if you fear, if you let desires cloud your vision, the blue radiance becomes overwhelming. What should be a blessing appears as terror. Here is the paradox. The light leads home, but only to the soul ready to surrender its attachments. In esoteric Christian writings, blue is associated with the Virgin Mary, symbolizing divine grace enveloping the dying. Medieval saints are depicted passing amid a serene blue radiance, their faces illuminated with a tranquility that awestruck witnesses could not explain. In the Kabbalistic tree of life, blue aligns with Hesed loving-kindness, a gateway through which the soul ascends if it has realized compassion in this life. Scientifically, researchers documenting near-death experiences have compiled uncanny similarities: the bluish tunnel, the wave of blue energy, the sensation of merging into an endless blue sky. But mainstream science is hesitant to assign metaphysical meaning, preferring to call these visions byproducts of anoxia or cortical malfunction. Yet, ask anyone who has been there, and few describe these visions as hallucinations. They describe them as realer than real, imbued with a knowledge that never quite leaves them. This divergence speaks to a deeper truth. The blue light is both personal and universal, a Rorschach of the soul. Its meaning is as much about the beholder as it is about the phenomenon itself. And what about the skeptics, who argue that these visions are but cultural artifacts, wishful thinking projected onto the void? Consider this: if the blue light were merely a learned expectation, why does it surface independently in isolated cultures, separated by thousands of miles and hundreds of years? Why does it appear spontaneously in children with no spiritual indoctrination, or in the visions of scientists known for their rationalism? Here is another layer of the mystery, little known even among initiates. Esoteric alchemical traditions speak of the bluing, a rare stage in the process of spiritual refinement. Just as iron must temper in a blue flame before it is made unbreakable, so too, say the alchemists, must consciousness pass through the blue fire to emerge pure and indestructible. Those who have seen the blue report a curious aftermath: heightened intuition, dissolved fear of mortality, a kind of childlike wonder restored. There are deeper metaphysical models as well. Some occultists refer to the blue light as the astral current, a river of consciousness that underlies and animates the visible world. Theosophists describe it as the vehicle of the soul's higher mind, transcending animal instinct and ego, carrying awareness through ever more luminous planes. Myths and science, psychology and spirit, they tangle together, refusing a single, easy answer. The blue light haunts the borderlands, simultaneously a physical occurrence, a symbol, and an invitation. Each time we edge closer, another veil drops, but the heart of the mystery always stays just out of reach, beckoning us ever deeper, asking not only, what is the blue light, but who are we to behold it? Now, for those willing to not just ponder this enigma, but embody its lesson, let us explore how you might invite its wisdom, bright and paradoxical, into your own living consciousness. The journey does not end at the threshold, for the blue light, above all, is the promise that we can touch the infinite, not just in death, but every day we dare to seek it. Let us bring the mystery home, transforming it from a distant fable into a vivid presence inhabiting our daily lives. For if the blue light truly marks the passage between worlds, it also illuminates a path for the living, an invitation to deepen awareness, dissolve fear, and glimpse the infinite that lies not only at death's door, but within the heart of every moment. How then might you cultivate sensitivity to this subtle frequency? The sages of old would begin with ritual, deliberate acts that align body, mind, and soul with higher realities. Here are practices, drawn from ancient wisdom and modern mysticism alike, to bring you nearer to the luminous blue threshold. 1. Blue light meditation. Sit comfortably, close your eyes, and visualize a tiny, vibrant blue flame at the center of your throat. With each breath, envision the flame widening and brightening, bathing your chest, then your entire being, in gentle azure light. Let the sensation of calm, clarity, and quiet expansion infuse you. Advanced practitioners may attempt this in the twilight before sleep or upon waking, when the mind hovers between worlds. With patience, some report sensations of deep peace, spontaneous insight, and even glimpses of otherworldly presences shimmering at the edge of vision. 2. Silent vigil. Inspired by ancient death watch traditions, spend time in the company of those who are dying or grieving, not as a nurse or mourner, but as a silent witness. Rather than fearing death, observe the subtle energies of the room, the changing quality of light and air. Some practitioners report that, when attuned and open, a serene blue glow may occasionally be perceived, not always with the eyes, but with a deeper sense. Take comfort. Whether you see it or not, the act of being present at the threshold transforms both watcher and watched. 3. The Blue Compassion Ritual. Invoke the energy of the blue light through acts of selfless kindness, particularly at moments of transition, birth, death, endings, and beginnings. Light a blue candle, focus briefly on its flame, and dedicate your words or deeds to the easing of suffering and the illumination of confusion. Esoteric teachings assure that this simple ritual opens the Vishuddha center, fostering clear expression and a sense of connection to something larger than oneself. But the practical application is not just about technique, it is about perspective. The blue light calls us to practice letting go of rigid identities, of toxic attachments, of the illusion that we are separate from the vast expanse of being. In everyday life, this may translate as forgiveness, creative expression, or a courageous embrace of change and uncertainty. Like the blue sky, our true nature is spacious and clear when we release the passing clouds of anxiety and judgment. Common pitfalls and guidance. Beware the temptation to chase the phenomenon for its own sake. Many seekers become lost, either dismissing their experiences as fantasy or clinging to them with feverish attachment. The wisdom traditions counsel humility, witness what arises, but do not force or dramatize. Judge transformation not by visions themselves, but by the blossoming of serenity, compassion, and open-mindedness in your life. If fear arises, and it often does in the face of the unknown, recall the words of the Bardo, recognize the light as your own nature. The blue radiance is not foreign or dangerous, but a reflection of the soul's clarity and purity, inviting you to bring that same clarity into each thought, word, and deed. Trust that whatever your current ability to perceive, the journey toward the blue light begins anew each morning, with every conscious breath. In this way, we do not merely wait for death's great unveiling. We bring the sacred blue into the texture of the ordinary living as initiates, wide-eyed and unafraid, attuned to mystery, even amid the most mundane hours. And so, with heart and senses awakened, you may glimpse the subtle blue glow, not only at the end of the corridor but scattered, shimmering like hidden jewels through every corridor you walk. And so, as we return from the labyrinth of legend and light, what have we truly found? The blue glow that shimmers on the edge of death is more than a spectral curiosity or ancient superstition. It is a message, repeated in whispers across the centuries, that life is a continuous dance between worlds, and the threshold is not a final prison, but a luminous gateway awaiting our courage. The blue light witnessed by shamans in remote forests, seen by hospice nurses in quiet rooms, painted into the halos of saints, remains stubbornly mysterious. Science strives to explain it as neurochemistry, culture, or hallucination. Yet the depth of meaning and the universality with which this phenomenon is encountered suggest something deeper, an archetype, perhaps, or a genuine glimpse beyond the veil. A sign that the infinite is never as far away as we imagine. What practical wisdom does this hold for us, here and now? To pursue the blue light is to train our senses to perceive the subtle, to attune to inner truth, and to soften our grasp on certainty. It teaches us to honor the liminal moments of transition, places where the ordinary moment shivers with possibility. Most importantly, it reminds us that the mysteries reserved for death's threshold can be invited into life, making every day a sacred passage rather than mere routine. Consider this: if you knew that a radiant blue presence would one day stand before you, would you live differently today? Would you speak more honestly, forgive more easily, create more boldly? Are you willing to let go of fear and trust that beyond the visible lies a vastness that offers not oblivion but reunion? Perhaps the truest secret is this: the blue light is not a thing to be seen, but a reality to be remembered, a thread leading us home, woven into every breath, every act of courage and wonder. If this journey has sparked a question, a memory, or a shiver of recognition within you, let it guide you. Share your own stories or reflections in the comments, and subscribe to join us as we continue to unveil the hidden wisdom scattered across time and space. May the mysterious blue light illuminate your path here at the turning and in all the days to come. Until next time, fellow seekers, keep your eyes open, for the world is more mysterious and more enchanted than it seems.